What's up? Welcome to Edge of Illumination. It is Renee. So there is this new trend that has been gaining in popularity and it's quite disturbing. It's called the Lavender marriage. So initially, lavender marriages started off as a way for people that were LGB to be able to hide their identity and protect themselves. This was important when they were at a time where they felt like they would be harassed, etc. But now, because of people complaining about the dating situation and relationships, they are seeking safe refuge in a lavender marriage. I have already been seeing a number of viral videos with extremely handsome, attractive young men seeking a partner for a lavender marriage. And of course, they're bombarded with thousands and thousands of women, which many of them have expressed. I've also seen tons of women in the comments who are saying, I would love to do that. That sounds so peaceful. That sounds so wonderful, especially from older women. So the idea is it is a couple that is married in matrimony, but typically it'll be the male who is identifying as homosexual and the female is straight. This relationship would make sense if it was a situation where they're in a country where they're fearing for their lives or as an extreme form of protection. But in this day and age, there are other things going on within it. So we're going to go into that pretty deep. Number one, let's say you have a lesbian woman, a gay man, and they're in a so-called lavender marriage. That maybe wouldn't be so bad. That kind of sounds like it could be a good sitcom or romance comedy or something like that. But we're talking about real life heterosexual women who are with basically their dream partner who is unable to love them. I personally think this is because there have been so many new cases and so much awareness brought to what is called the DL man. What is DL? It stands for down low. I personally think the lavender marriages are in response to the down low men recently being exposed. There have been several viral videos recently and influencers exposing what is called down low culture. And basically what that is it's when a person that is with men has, let's say, a wife and children or a family and doesn't tell the person that he's with that he's into men. This causes a lot of complications. Now, this is not the same as simply being bisexual and being afraid to disclose their identity. Many times in these situations, they tend to have narcissistic traits and live double lives when we're specifically talking about what's called down low men. So, for example, they may have a double life where they're partying on the weekend, engaging in a lot of reckless activities, and then come home to a wife and family and keep that life a secret. This has caused so many issues for a lot of men and women around the world. In many of the cases that I've seen, particularly with men who are down low, they tend to be with multiple partners for the sake of supply because they want to live a hedonistic lifestyle. Again, this is very different than, we're not talking about LGB. We're talking about specifically people that would be more along the lines of addicts, people that crave the attention, crave the rush of being with numerous or different partners. With lavender marriages, it poses a huge risk because if you have a guy who has already told you from the beginning that he does not like women, that he does not want to be with a woman, and you get with him and you consent because it seems like it's going to be a perfect marriage, right? Like we'll be friends, we'll live together, we may even have a happy family. This may work if it wasn't for the fact that the woman deep down is going to be somewhat attracted to the guy if she is heterosexual. The woman deep down is hoping that he is going to change. She has emotions for him, and that has to be really odd to be in a situation where you basically have this person that you have emotions for that is your dream person, but they can never really love you back, but you guys are married on paper. You may even have children on paper and share a home. So this is where it gets really complicated. So it's creating a situation where basically the woman's energy is going to be siphoned in this. all of that yearning, all of that missing him, all of that wanting to be with him is going to be draining for the woman. After she realizes that it was a mistake, she is not going to receive much sympathy because people are going to say, well, you signed up for it. You knew what you were getting into. Well, what, did you think you could change him? So this creates a problem. I do see that the man would have a lot more leverage in this situation, though, because if he meets another man, he can tell the other man that, I have to make sure that we're serious and this will be a really big move for me. And he would seem a little bit less available and a bit more complicated, which might actually give him appeal within dating for himself. So let's say he secures a romantic partner, then what? Is he expected to stay within the Lavender marriage? Of course not. He is going to leave that woman and get into a relationship with the person that he likes. And she is going to lose out on her fantasy and her dream of maybe having this perfect commitment with this guy. And no one is going to have compassion because they're going to say, but you knew what you were getting into. This is a bad situation. If you're going to get married because you like the person. Get married because you want to be with the person. Get married because you want to be in a relationship with the person. But if you're putting yourself in a situation where you are married on paper and even share a family with that person, and you know they can never love you and will never love you, you're setting yourself up for a very toxic and unhealthy situation. What I feel like is it's going to bring in a lot of guys who were previously using women specifically for supply, specifically for emotional affection and attention without giving to those women on an emotional level, or men that have traits of narcissism. They are going to be the ones to flood the Lavender marriage market. That's not to say all of them. Some may be very nice, well-intended guys who just want a relationship with their friend. But in that case, why not just become friends? So the biggest concern here are vulnerable women who are seeking refuge and think, well, that sounds nice. That sounds peaceful. We'll just rely on each other for emotional support. We'll be friends. And, maybe one day it'll lead to something more. And they get married to these people and it's the biggest mistake of their lives. So yes, I do think that because so many narcissists have lost supply, they are now resorting to brand new things, such as this Lavender marriage. I hope you have an awesome, amazing rest of the day. Let me know what you think of these Lavender marriages. Is it a good idea to have people that are married that are actually not in a romantic or committed relationship, or should they just remain friends? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and until next time, bye-bye.